when we were doing food discovery in 2014, we thought कि अरे यार ये idea तो किसी के पास नहीं होगा, and we saw 28 companies who did that idea and dropped it, and we were 29th in that line.
Sahil, so what, like the main objective of a startup is to build yourself to a platform that puts you in a great deal of leadership. तो ऐसे लोग, ऐसे पॉइंट पे पहुंचना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कि जहाँ पे यू आर ऑन टॉप ऑफ समथिंग, यू आर ऑन अ हायरार्की वेर यू आर ऑन द टॉप. But to reach that top, like there is a lot of rejection and failure, and I believe that that might have happened to you as well. So, like,
Yeah, right.
what are some of the failures that you would like to share?
So I gave a TED talk around failures.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I have a lot of content on failure because that is what we do. So we have a system in our office where the whole company, I think, everybody goes by that rule that every week we do 4 experiments, and out of that 4 experiments, 3 of them mostly fail, and then 1 works. And every month we have 4 things which are working, and at the end of the month we have 1 thing which is working. That is in context with social media marketing, but that is how we have also seen ourselves. So we did something. We never did a political campaign before, or political social media. We took that up as a challenge, and then there were a lot of failures which we're seeing. So we did not know how to deal with a client which had 40 lakh followers on one account, and what to do. And then there are things coming back to you because you did some mistakes and those kind of things, and those things happen.
Right.
When we were doing the event of Hungrito Food Fest, uh, only I was somebody who came from a events background. At least, why I'm calling events background is I did offline events in colleges also, and I was active in them. So there were 7 more people in the team. None of them had handled any of the events in the first place. Okay, and those people went outside, so they faced a lot of rejections because nobody used to believe in Hungrito that Hungrito could pull people in. Okay, we were just an Instagram page of 30,000 followers. How can somebody who has 30,000 followers tell people that we will have a footfall of 10,000 to 15,000 people? And they were not believing us, and then we did not have anybody to put up a stall. So we changed the model. We did it on a percentage system, and then we did that. So at that time we went to a lot of food joints, high cost food joints, and other. Everybody rejected us. A lot of QSR chains rejected us. They still reject us whenever we go. That is the case. But yeah, you will have to try continuously. We have faced a lot of rejection in that way. So every day we try to do something. I personally fail rejections in convincing my team to do something. So if I am convinced enough, but there is so much democracy in the whole system that they reject my opinions also at the end of the day if they feel that this is not right. Okay. So if there is a value in what you are seeing, rejections will always be there. So you are trying for something. Suppose I told you example for getting speakers of the summit that we are doing. We sent messages to 50 people. Of them 30 replied, and then we had something, and rest of them rejected us that they would not like, or it is very small audiences there and those kind of things. And today a lot of people come to us for getting their events online, those kind of things. So there will be continuous rejection, but if you go through, if you ask number of times to number of people, you will get few people who will be ready to experiment with you on those things. And if you prove things right for them, so somebody who had a stall in Hungrito Food Fest in the first festival, okay, did have a stall in the second and third one also. But somebody who rejected us in the first one came to in the first festival, saw, okay, these guys are doing things, then put up the stall in the second. Still the chains are not believing us. The chains don't know how we are bringing in people because we don't do any billboard advertisement. We don't do any paper advertisements. We don't do any TV, radio. We don't push radio a lot. And we do a little bit. But then people still are in confusion that how are they able to pull things. But that is always going to remain. So अगर तुम politicians भी देखो तो भी वो 100% voting के कारण नहीं जीत रहे. They are not able to convince everybody and get that seat. They are able to convince only 30-35% of the people of the population which is there who is going to vote, and then they get that seat. So understand that percentage. So if you know analytics and those kind of things, you will know, okay, only 20% of the things which we work on give us output, 80% don't. And 80-20 rule is very much there in everything that we do. So rejections are there. We have seen a lot of them, but I think everybody has their own fair share in those things. So we never went outbound a lot. So I don't know a lot of things which salespeople get. Some of my teammates know that, but luckily I am not the guy who does sales for the company in the first place. So upfront rejection in that part is something that the team members have gone through a lot in that way. So people tell के यार तुम्हारा क्या है, कुछ आता नहीं है तुमको, क्या उठ के आ जाते हो, कभी इवेंट करवाया नहीं है. First event we did not have a map. We just created a map 3 or 4 days before of the event because we never knew that thing. And then people are shouting at us and screaming at us and telling us to get out of the office and those kind of things, and which is very normal, which happens with everybody.
From the kind of like from the kind of character that I have been able to decipher from the talk we have had just now, I think कि स्टार्टअप के लिए दो चीजें तो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि एक तो पहला तो परसिस्टेंस और दूसरा परफेक्शन. मतलब इफ यू से कि अगर हंग्रीटो के फर्स्ट फेस्ट के अंदर कोई अगर उसके अंदर आपको रिजेक्ट कर दे तो नंबर वन यू हैव अ परसिस्टेंट एफर्ट टू कॉल देम अगेन, like keep on asking them, and the second is perfection, because if the first one wasn't good, there is a good chance that they might not come to the second one.
True.
Right. So like, what is your, like, I would just want your comment on that. So do you think that these things are the most important?
It is very important. In the festivals we do, or in the things that we as a company do, we keep in mind that a lot, because a lot of companies forget in the online medium that they are talking to a real person at the end of the day. They just see that impression is 5500 or impression is 5 lakh 6 lakh जो भी नंबर आया, लेकिन वो एक्सेल शीट में तो नंबर दिखता है, लेकिन at the end of the day वो भी एक इंसान है. And if he is coming in the summit that we did it online, and a lot of people when we did online summit, we were the first movers in doing online summit at that time, and nobody knew. So we used to do customer support 24/7, and we had 4 people sitting in shifts of 6 hours, and then answering them queries. किसी का Zoom में login नहीं हो रहा तो वो भी हम करवा के दे रहे हैं, those kind of things. And in festivals also we did a lot of those things. In the offline festivals you get so much good experience in that way compared to other festivals. So अगर product अच्छा नहीं होगा और आप सामने वाले का इज्जत नहीं करोगे कि वो आया है आपके वहाँ, तो वो नहीं हो सकता. And that is I think a very valid point that you saw. तो सामने वाले को फील गुड फैक्टर मिलना ही चाहिए. इंडिया में अभी वो ट्रेंड नहीं आया है, क्योंकि जैसे जेपोज और वो सब कंपनीज का आप देखोगे तो वो लोग का वही था, दे रैन ऑन फील गुड फैक्टर. एप्पल आज लोग बाय करते हैं यूएस में इतने ज्यादा क्योंकि वो फील गुड फैक्टर देता है आपको. व्हेन यू गो टू एप्पल स्टोर यू फील लाइक अ किंग. व्हेन यू गो टू वन प्लस स्टोर इन इंडिया दे मेक यू फील कि हाँ नहीं साहब आप आए हो, आप बताओ क्या करना. एमआई भी वही ट्राई कर रहे हैं. So that is something that slowly and gradually things are shifting to, but yeah, it will, I think, shift for a good, that is for sure. And if you are in first movers advantage getting these kind of things, I think people will remember you. We have grown a lot in that segment. For festival, I can say that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now that I hope that when somebody sees this, hopefully if anyone sees this, like they get a sense of idea that like all that glitter is not gold, right?
Yeah.
So like to go through multiple phases of the startup, like because people's inspiration is Dhirubhai Ambani at the moment. Like people को हर इंसान को बनना है कि धीरूभाई अंबानी बनना है, but the phases that go through in India, at least when you have education, like you were still lucky enough to have studied at an institute that was the top in Gujarat. So
yeah,
the people who aren't studying in such institutes have, like, they haven't been taught the principle of going through things even though it won't work out. उनको ये नहीं पता है कि मतलब if you have a sort of rejection, तो उसमें से बाहर कैसे निकलना है. Like ये बर्नआउट का जो प्रॉब्लम है वो इंडिया में सबसे ज्यादा होता है. तो मतलब इसी बात का रिफ्लेक्शन अभी ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट इसके लिए हो जाता है क्योंकि नाउ दैट वी आर इन द होल कोविड सेक्शन, अब तो दुनिया मतलब प्री कोविड और पोस्ट कोविड के जैसे हम अभी वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 की बात करते थे, पहले की दुनिया और उसके बाद की दुनिया, तो now everything will change sort of. अब अब अगर हम लोग बात करें कि अगर लार्ज ह्यूमन गैदरिंग टाइप के जो स्टार्टअप्स होंगे वो जरूरी नहीं कि उतनी फंडिंग ले पाए जितने डिजिटल ले पाएंगे. सो we will have that kind of a shift towards software. So what do you think would be MSME sector and startups in post-COVID world?
So I think extra खर्चे लोग थोड़ा बंद कर देंगे for a time being. कि why people used to spend and people used to spend a lot on luxuries in the first place. And that is both ways, that during this time everybody understood that the family runs on 20,000 rupees a month. If 4 5 people are there, they don't need more than that. And now the extra cost which was coming was everything from the luxury. And now people maybe will start spending on themselves more, because so they will start spending on gardening and things that make them happy in the first place. So happiness पे बहुत ज़्यादा अभी चीज़ें चली जाएंगी. So if your product is there which concentrates on those kind of things, you will gain a lot of traction. Plus there wasn't a mindset in people also that हाँ अपना peace of mind चाहिए. In the meantime things will increase a lot in this scenario, because everybody is at home and they have their own space and those kind of things. In India, me time or me space was not something concept before. But when people come to offices now, they will know कि भाई हाँ ये time से ये time मेरे को परेशान नहीं करना. Don't talk to me. I am in my own zone and those kind of things. And that will happen a lot, and that will, I think, have good impact on the environment also. Environment means work culture, and a bad impact also, because people who are outspoken or outgoing like me always face a challenge of coming to office where nobody is there. And then when everybody will be coming back, and then they will be in their own zone of nobody disturbing them for 8 hours 6 hours a day when they are working, and that thing will change a lot. Plus major thing that is going to happen is people will value, I think, skill set now a lot rather than the time. That is, I think that might be the change. I don't know if it will happen or not, but that will be there. So somebody who, because everybody is working from home, so if somebody sitting in Brazil can do your work, why would you give that to somebody in US? Those kind of things. So freelancers and single person companies and those kind of things will see a lot of upper shift, because they are professional and do one thing at a time. So somebody who wants to develop a WordPress website first used to do it in house, but now they will think कि भाई developer क्यों रखूं पूरा का पूरा, मैं सिर्फ WordPress website करवा के काम खत्म करा, कुछ और चाहिए then you do that. वैसा, those kind of things. I think that will be the change. And if you are in that niche service kind of thing, you will gain a lot of traction in this time.
Well, so like it is at least good to see that the kind of myths that even the IT companies, huge IT companies had within themselves, that they need a full-time full stack developer to
Yeah,
cater to all their needs, is kind like it will shatter so that people in more specialized fields can overtake the other people. So
true.
now I want to end this podcast on two segments. I want you to first give a message
Hmm.
to all the budding aspiring entrepreneurs as to how to get started. And the second thing is a message to everyone about the world we live in. And like the message could be to anyone and everyone.
For the entrepreneurs, I think one thing that you need to decide, if you have started working on something, keep it as a side hustle only. Don't try to jump into it leaving the job and those kind of things, because job security is very important in the first place, and your peace of mind is very important. So do some things till the time you get that traction, because most of the people what they do is ये सब छोड़ छाड़ के मैं इस पे ही काम करूंगा, वो नहीं होता है. Start getting traction, because whatever idea you are working on, there are 15 other people in your state only, not in that country, in your state only who are working on the same idea. इंडिया ऐसा कंट्री है, आप जो भी आइडिया बोलोगे ऑलरेडी 7 जने करके छोड़ चुके हैं. वैसा, when we were doing food discovery in 2014, we thought कि अरे यार ये आइडिया तो किसी के पास नहीं होगा, and we saw 28 companies who did that idea and dropped it. And we were 29th in that line. Okay, so those kind of things will happen. Do that research, and if until and unless you are able to build that initial traction, or you have that base कि भाई हाँ ये होगा उसके बाद ही मैं जॉब छोड़ूंगा और ये होगा उसके बाद ही मैं करूंगा, तो ही वो करना. और अगर आप कॉलेज में हो तो प्लीज कॉलेज टाइम को अच्छे से यूटिलाइज करो, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करो. कॉलेज में बहुत टाइम होता है, बहुत वेले होते हैं कॉलेज में. जितने भी बोलते हैं मटकस्ती हमने भी बहुत मारी है कॉलेज में. We also enjoyed a lot in college, but then if you have time at that time, if you start doing things, you will gain a lot of fresh experiments in life. That is only I always say to people, do experiments in life. I usually don't do experiments in my own personal life as such, but in business life I do a lot of them. So that is one thing. Do those things and meet a lot of new people, travel around and see what other things, so that your exposure is something which is very important. So in the initial days of my family, when I was in college, my family members used to take us to other places. When I just passed out of college, because I have a family which is into other things, so that is why I traveled to China, I traveled to US, I traveled to Germany, just to see what are the things there. Though would not have that kind of opportunity, but then you can travel in India. इंडिया में ट्रैवल बहुत चीप है, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं कि बहुत ज्यादा. कॉलेज टाइम पे आप कर सकते हो आराम से. जाओ, देखो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं, अंडरस्टैंड गांव में कैसे चीजें चल रही हैं. अगर ट्यूबवेल चल रहा है, ट्यूबवेल कैसे चलता है, क्या चीजें होती हैं वहाँ, क्या स्ट्रगल है. यू विल गेट अ लॉट ऑफ आइडियाज थ्रू दोस थिंग्स. एंड वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दैट इज द होल प्रॉब्लम, you will start connecting them, and then you will get some new ideas. But once you don't understand why somebody is doing that, you won't go anywhere. थोड़ा hypothetical है, ये करना पड़ता है.
Absolutely. So that with that, we conclude the podcast. Thank you so much for being with us on the
Thanks a lot,
podcast. I
Sparsh.
hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thanks a lot, Sparsh. Thanks a lot. It was a great time. Okay, so bye bye.
Oh.